gaming phones are still a thing, and we're not complaining. Meet the new Infinix GT 35G, which is the more affordable version of the GT 30 Pro that went official in June this year. It's got an identical look and has the same gaming features like the shoulder triggers and the fancy lighting at the back. But given the price cut and the simmered down specs, is the Infinix GT 30 worth getting for just under 12,000 pesos? Hello from the other side, CJ here, and here's our review of the Infinix GT 35G. Roll that intro. First things first, the looks. Obviously, you can't mistake this for an average smartphone. The Infinix GT 30 is rocking that gamer aesthetics with geometrical patterns splashed all over the back. Found at the upper left corner is the rectangular camera island housing its dual camera setup. This design is further highlighted by those strips of LED lights, or the so-called mechanical light waves. More on that later. Okay, let's turn off the mechanical light waves. Now you see it. Now you don't. Our unit is in the cyber blue colorway, and notably, it sports the same design language as the GT 30 Pro Gaming Master Edition. So that's cool. As compared to the other color options, with this one, you can see a bit more depth that almost makes it look like it has a transparent design. The phone is fairly light in the hand, weighing only 187 grams, and has the usual frame thickness, measuring under 8 millimeters. Speaking of the frame, the phone appears to be using an all-plastic build with a flat edge design. The glossy finish makes it a fingerprint magnet though. For iOS, the top has a speaker grill for stereo audio, a mic, and the IR blaster. There's the usual power button and volume rocker on the right, accompanied with two shoulder triggers placed on both ends, while the bottom has the usual USB-C port, a mic, dual SIM tray, and another speaker grill. The left side is clean. The phone comes with IP64 rating for protection against dust and splashes of water. Unlike most entry-level phones nowadays though, it doesn't offer any drop resistance, so slapping a protective case on it is a must. Flip the phone over and you're greeted by a 6.78-inch LTPS AMOLED screen, sporting a 1.5K resolution, a smooth 144Hz refresh rate, and a luminance of 1600 nits in high brightness mode. It even gets Corning Gorilla Glass 7i for an added layer protection. The bezels are not too thick and are visually uniform except the chin that's a little thicker than the rest. Interestingly, this is the very same display used on the GT 30 Pro, so Infinix is quite generous with this new release, and I'll take it. The visual experience is great with fine detail, deep blacks, and vivid colors. It has support for Widevine L1 as well, so it can fully take advantage of the 1.5 screen resolution. Going back, the listening experience is mediocre at best. While it can go loud, the sound quality gets muffled at max volumes. The highs stand out, the mids are decent, and there's a lack of bass. It does offer some level of immersion thanks to its dual stereo audio, but the bottom speaker is louder than the other one it seems. For biometrics, there's an under-display fingerprint sensor along with face unlock, both of which are quick to use in unlocking the phone. Now, let's talk about the cameras. It packs a 64-megapixel main snapper with face detect autofocus along with an 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens. Up front is a 13-megapixel selfie camera. With plenty of lighting, images taken from the GT30 are pretty good. The colors are accurate, the clarity is sharp, and the dynamic range is alright. Mainly thanks to AI processing, the subject and background separation is on point, especially for those portrait shots. Ultra-wide shots are decent at best, given you take photos in well-lit conditions. However, you might not want to use the ultra-wide lens indoors as the sharpness drops quite drastically. Surprisingly, for video quality, the GT30 can record up to 4K at 30 frames per second even with the electronic image stabilization turned on. It's the same case for video quality in which sharpness depends on the lighting condition. Videos captured in light environments are smooth enough with sharp detail and good contrast, but the quality drops in low light, showing obvious grain and lack of detail. Look closer. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. For the most part, I must say, for an affordable gaming phone, the Infinix GT30 doesn't slack on providing good camera experience, at least for the rear setup. Moving on to the most crucial part of this review, the performance. Powering the Infinix GT30 is the MediaTek Dimensity 7400 chipset. Our unit comes with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage. Sadly, there's no storage expansion here, but it does support up to 8GB of virtual RAM for a total of 16GB extended memory. Looking at our benchmark results, it got almost a million score in Antutu, and for graphical tasks like 3D Mark, it was able to get an average frame rate of 24 frames per second. However, it gets hit with storage benchmarks, with relatively slow read and write speeds. Check out the rest of our benchmark results right here. Setting the numbers aside, the phone was able to perform well. Navigation is smooth, launching different apps is quick and snappy, and multitasking is okay despite the limited onboard RAM. On the topic of gaming, this is where the Infinix GT 30 excels, taking punches well above its weight class. It's best for games like MOBA and first-person shooters, and in my experience, it was able to hit 120 frames on Mobile Legends and 90 frames per second on Call of Duty Mobile consistently. However, for graphic-intensive games like Wuthering Waves, the phone only managed to pump out 30 to 40 frames even at low graphic settings. There was a game optimization engine called XBoost AI, but it didn't really help improve the gameplay, at least for those graphically demanding titles. To my surprise, the phone doesn't get warm during prolonged gaming sessions. I played different games in a span of almost 2 hours, and the phone maintained a relatively cool chassis. The phone did come with a free magnetic cooler, so if it ever heats up for even long play sessions, then you have that at your disposal. On the software side, the GT30 ships with XOS 15 based on Android 15. It's pretty much the same software experience that I had with other Infinix phones before, except there's more polish this time around. For example, opening and closing an app now has a proper animation. There are lots of customization options too that I feel like it deserves its own video. Perhaps a future upload where we explore all the features, tips and tricks, stuff like that for each Android custom UIs? We'll see. There's a substantial amount of bloatware to be seen here, but they can easily be uninstalled. With the so-called mechanical light waves here at the back, you can appreciate the amount of software integration that Infinix made for this key feature. These party lights don't just illuminate for calls and notifications, it also goes well with other things. It lights up when playing music, opening a game, charging, and even launching its built-in AI chatbot. Speaking of gaming, there's the GT triggers for added controls, rounding for a full gaming phone experience. I was able to use it on Call of Duty Mobile by mapping out the jump and fire buttons, and the shoulder triggers work perfectly fine with virtually no input delays. You can also use one of the shoulder triggers to be your ADS. You can just play like aiming on the left button and shooting at the right button, like how you do for console games. I still have that one gripe though, the dynamic bar. While I find it really functional and smooth to use, the rounded corners are still not matching the display borders, even though they say that it's XOS for GT, so there's that. In terms of update policy, Infinix is promising up to 2 major OS upgrades and 3 years of security patches for the GT30. Battery-wise, the phone packs a 5500 mAh unit paired with 45 watts of wired charging. Despite the larger than usual capacity, its battery life is a bit underwhelming. In our battery test, the phone only lasted 12 hours and 51 minutes. While that is a decent result, it's a shorter battery life as compared to my daily driver with a 5000 mAh capacity. It's slightly better in video playback though. In our proprietary video loop test, it was able to get 16 hours and 40 minutes of playback. As for charging, it was able to get from less than 8% battery in a little over an hour, and that's for smart charging mode, by the way. Of course, there's also bypass charging support to boot. For connectivity, it covers all the essentials including 5G, Wi-Fi 6, NFC for contactless payments, and IR blaster. Now, before we get to our verdict, let's talk about the price. The Infinix GT30 is priced solely at 11,999 pesos. That comes with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Gaming phones usually have an expensive price tag. However, that's absolutely not the case with the Infinix GT30 or any other recent Infinix gaming phones for that matter. It has all the bells and whistles that make it a solid gaming phone on a budget. The built-in shoulder triggers, the gaming-centric aesthetics, and overall performance that packs a decent punch. While it's not equipped with the most powerful chip around, it's decently good enough for anyone who wants a gaming phone with a striking balance in hardware and value for money. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think of the Infinix GT30? Will you get it anytime soon? Let us know in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful or informative, give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. Check us out on our socials, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Oh, Wow! Check us out on the socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And see you at tech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! See you later!